I figured it out. I figured out why Tom Hanks signed on for Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and now this one. Because he wished that he worked with Ron Howard on Happy Days.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are happy days. These days are share them with me.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Inferno is no perfect movie. So in Inferno, a professor named Robert Langdon, played by Tom Hanks, teams up with a doctor named Sienna, played by Felicity Jones, in order to prevent a plague nicknamed Inferno from being released and killing half of the entire world's population. And in order to find the virus, they have to look for clues that are hidden in artworks inspired by Dante Alighieri, including the Map of Hell and Dante's Divine Comedy. There are many times throughout the movie when Ron Howard, as a director, creates an atmosphere that really makes us feel as perplexed as Langdon is, such as when he's recovering from a gunshot wound in the beginning of the movie and he has no memory of the past few days. His vision and hearing are very blurry, while another character in the exact same room is portrayed with standard coverage, and it cuts back and forth from his perspective to hers in order to contrast from the two. And whenever there's a major death, it's filmed in very huge wide shots with little to no cuts in order for the audience to really feel the impact of their death. But there are other times, like during any chase sequence during the movie, or when we see Langdon hallucinating clues such as the Map of Hell in order to piece together an anagram, where there's a lot of fast cutting and a lot of shaky camera work too. And I know that it's to portray the confusion that Langdon is feeling, where he's taking vague clues and is trying to find clarity to them. But as an audience, we don't know as much about Dante or Renaissance art as Langdon does. So I do feel like holding on shots for longer periods of time and keeping the images steady would have helped us understand their meaning a lot more and be able to help us follow whatever Langdon's thinking in his head. I can't really say that any of the actors do a bad job in portraying their characters. They all give passable, standard performances that I can't really find any faults with. But I have absolutely nothing to say about their characters because they're two-dimensional at best. I mean, to his credit, Tom Hanks does physically react to any situation as any normal person would, especially when he's scouting every little piece of a painting to look for clues and try to remember everything he can. But backstory-wise, all we really know about him is that he used to be in love with a World Health Organization agent who just so happens to be part of the Inferno case and actually asked him to help her, and that's really about it. You don't know anything else about him. And as for Felicity Jones, you see at the very beginning of the film, there are these pictures in her house where we see that she used to be a child prodigy, which does explain why she's so good at helping to decrypt some of the clues for Langdon. But after that, her past as a prodigy is never referenced again. In fact, whenever more of her past is revealed later on in the film, I had already lost interest and I just didn't care anymore. Which brings me to my biggest problem. There are way too many plot twists, and all of them are revealed way too late into the film. During the third act especially, there are so many times when a character is revealed to be a villain pretending to be good, or a good person who was misrepresented as a villain. And this one private security CEO, played by Irfan Khan, who keeps switching sides from time to time. And while there aren't really any plot holes with these twists, at least none that I could notice, I felt absolutely nothing when they happened. And after thinking about it, I decided that the reason I didn't feel anything was because there was absolutely no point in these to be twists in the first place. Like, for example, if a character is in love with a terrorist who is creating and releasing the plague, and that person wants to help them release the virus, go ahead. You can develop that plot from the beginning of the film to the end to get more emotion out of it. You don't need them to pretend to be good just so you can pull the rug from underneath the audience. That's just a cheap trick. If the film was focused more on the treasure hunting through the artwork and was more straightforward with its character motivations, it would have been much more enjoyable as opposed to spending your whole time trying to fool the audience rather than letting them solve the mystery for themselves. Even in something like, say, The Last Crusade, where a character was revealed to be a villain, they were revealed very early on into the movie, almost before the second act, and the rest of the movie focused on what we wanted to see, the treasure hunting and the main characters interacting with each other. And in this film, like I said, the treasure hunting is portrayed with really bad editing and camera work, and the characters don't really interact with each other because they're too busy explaining all the clues to the audience. I will admit that Inferno's story and direction was more realistic than I thought it'd be, judging from the trailers, and the actors all give standard but good performances, but their characters are just so thinly written. When their plot twists are trying to add some depth to them, they're introduced way too late for us to even care, and some of the mystery elements can only be understood by pure art aficionados as opposed to an average audience. And for that reason, I'm going to give Inferno a 2 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out my other reviews at NoPerfectMovie.com. And once again, thank you all so much for watching. Take care.